So you got problems with your string skipping, huh? Well, it's no wonder. You've not been practicing my ultimate string skipper ripper exercise. Well, hey there kids, it's your good buddy, Uncle Ben. One of the questions I get asked the most is, were you homeschooled? But the second most asked question that I get is, can you help me with my string skipping? And the answer to those questions is, yes. In this video, I'm going to show you guys one of the absolute greatest exercises that I've ever come up with to improve your string skipping today. This workout has its roots in the good old-fashioned 4-note chromatic exercise that we've all practiced a million times. But it adds in a metric ass ton of string skipping that happens on inside and outside changes. It's going to turn you into a picking machine. We're going to show you guys the exercise first and break down some of the picking fundamentals that you're going to need to make it happen. But if you want to hang out with the coolest kids on the whole wide internet, you're going to want to go support my channel over on my Patreon page at patreon.com/BenEllerGuitars. This week my supporters on my Patreon page are also going to get some really cool little bonus practice tracks like the one that you heard in the intro of this video at several different tempos, going all the way, down to like pep speed, up to step dad speed, all the way up to full-blown real dad speed for all your practicing needs. These practice tracks are going to take you all the way down from the first position of the exercise all the way up here to fret number 12, and they're definitely a whole hell of a lot more fun to practice along to than a soul-sucking metronome. I'll also be uploading a very special Patreon-only supplemental video to go along with this and showing you guys how you can take this exercise and add in some different fingering combinations for the ultimate two-hand workout. So to get access to the bonus lesson, the backing tracks, downloadable tabs, and so much more, all you gotta do is become a supporter of my channel over on patreon.com/BenEllerGuitars. Thanks. Okay, so let's make like the Black Eyed Peas and get it started. So as I said in the intro, this exercise has its roots in the good old 4-note chromatic exercise that we've all done before. Fingering wise here on the fretting hand, it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, then you go to the next string. 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on. But where this exercise takes a turn is instead of playing all 4 notes on a single string like the original does, what we're going to do is to displace every other note 2 strings away. So we're going to play the 1 on the low E, the 2 on the D string, so I'm skipping a string. The 3 we're going to put back here on the low E, and then the 4 is going to go back to the D string. So far we've played 1, 2, 3, 4. Picking wise, this is all going to be alternate picked, down, up, down, up. So that first set of 4 notes that we played there worked the outside string changes. So if these are the bottom 3 strings on your guitar, we played E, D, E, D, always staying here on the outside edges of the strings. That's half the puzzle. We solved the other half of the picking problems with the next portion of the exercise, which inverts everything that we just did. We're going to put the 1 on the D string, the 2 on the low E, the 3 on the D, and the 4 on the low E. So every set of strings gets 2 different inversions. 1, 2, 3, 4, followed by 1, 2, 3, 4. It's definitely a great workout for the left hand as well. It's pretty tricky to get those shapes moving across like that. Down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. Now that second set of the exercise there worked down to up to down to up. This is the inside string changes, which are my personal kryptonite as well as a lot of other players. So exercises like this are great to work on because they feature string changes going in both directions, outside and inside. I've noticed over the years with my students that people's picking preferences tend to be kind of like belly buttons, right? Like everybody's an innie or an outie naturally. Except for me. I had naval reassignment surgery many years ago. So our first set there happened on E and D. The next set is going to happen on the A to G strings. So we're going to play 1 on the A, 2 on the G, 3A, 4G, and then reverse it. 1G, 2A, 3G, 4A. Next we'll move on here to D and B. So 1 on the D, 2B, 3D, 4B, then invert it, 1B, 2D, 3B, 4D, and lastly we end up here on the G and high E strings. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. As you play this, I want you to be really careful with the way that you articulate those notes with the left hand. They shouldn't be bleeding into each other and overlapping like Tom Cruise's teeth in the 80s, like this. Nor should they have large gaps in between them, like Madonna's front teeth in the 80s. You should be seeking to hold each note down until the very nanosecond that you're picking the next one, at which point you don't just lift your finger off the string and take it away like that, because that causes a bunch of crappy noise, you know? You should be shooting to just simply relax that finger, you know, as this note strikes down, this finger just loosens up. See, I didn't take it off, I just released the pressure I was holding in it. So now that you've walked up that exercise with the ascending portion, it's time to take it in the other direction and descend down. While we're walking down the exercise, instead of 1, 2, 3, 4, we're going to reverse everything. It's going to be 4, 3, 2, 1, going across those pairs of strings. To start with, we're going to use the high E and G strings. We're going to play 4 on the E, 3 on the G, 2 on the high E, and 1 on the G. 4, 3, 2, 1. Again, try not to overthink the string skipping. For the left hand here, it's just 4, 3, 2, 1. Then what you're going to do is to invert all of that stuff. So we're going to play the 4 on the G, the 3 on the high E, 2 on the G, 1 on the high E. 4, 3, 2, 1, 4, 3, 2, 1. What King Crimson song is that? Next set of strings here is going to be the B and D strings. So we're going to play 4, 3, 2, 1, 4, 3, 2, 1. G to A, 4, 3, 2, 1, 4, 3, 2, 1. And lastly, D to low E, 4, 3, 2, 1, 4, 3, 2, 1. And that is the String Skipper Ripper. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we reverse. 4, 3, 2, 1, 4, 3, 2, 1. 4, 3, 2, 1, 4, 3, 2, 1. 4, 3, 2, 1, 4, 3, 2, 1, 4, 3, 2, 1, 4, 3, 2, 1. After you played it through there in the first position, I recommend just moving everything up a fret, you know? So now we're going to be using frets 2, 3, 4, 5, but the fingering stays the same. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on. As I always mention whenever I'm talking about exercises and stuff, I always recommend practicing these all over the neck, especially up here in the higher register, like fret 12 and above. Reason being is whenever we play up higher on the neck like that, fretting notes disturbs the natural radius of the strings so much more than it does whenever you play it down low. You can kind of look down the bridge of your guitar like that and fret notes down low and notice that the strings don't really move very much. Then fret the same string up high, and you can see a lot more movement going on down here where your pick is trying to hit it. Essentially, when you play higher up the neck, the pick has to learn how to hit a moving target, a string that's constantly being ducked down into the radius of the strings like that. Whereas when you play down low, they're not really moving that much, so your pick can be a little bit more indiscriminate. So let's talk a little bit about some of the picking ideas you need to adapt if you want to finally conquer your string skipping woes. Because if you're strictly thinking about your picking in terms of downstrokes and upstrokes, it can kind of f you up. Let me demonstrate with these Sharpies. Okay, let's imagine we're playing the exercise. This is the low E, this is the A, and this is the D. The picking for the exercise is supposed to go down, up, right? If my pick is literally going straight down, then you can see right now the tip of the pick is caught in between the E and A strings, down. So if I'm trying to do an upstroke here on the D, that means that I've then got to jump out of the strings, get up and over the A and D, that way I can do an upstroke here. And then again, we're presented with the same problem here. My pick is now in between the D and A strings. If I'm trying to do a downstroke down here on the low E, I've got to hurdle over both of them, get above it, and do a downstroke. Now that's not that bad at really low speeds, but it is frankly impossible to do at high tempos. This is also where another guitar playing, shred myth really screws a lot of people over, because I see tons of players that focus on getting the tiniest possible pick stroke happening. So you check it out. If I make the tiniest downstroke, then I'm nowhere near the string I'm trying to go to next, right? Down. I still have so much to go before I'm up under here. That necessitates another hop, to hurdle over both of those strings to get under here. And again, if I make a teeny tiny upstroke, I've got forever to go before I'm above the low E string again. I want you guys to start thinking about your pick strokes like being elevators that take you from string to string. Let's use that last upstroke I was talking about right there as an example. If I make that teeny tiny little upstroke I'm talking about, I'm nowhere near where I need to be, which is all the way up here, right? So I can do a downstroke on the E. But if I make an upstroke that has so much size and momentum to it that it carries me above the low E string, that's going to put me exactly where I need to be. Again, just think about it like an elevator that hits that string and takes you all the way above where you need to be so you can crash down on it. Your downstroke should be the exact same way. It should be an elevator going all the way down below the floor you need to go to. That way you can snap it with that upstroke next. But our picking elevator can't simply travel on a down and up line, because you end up smacking through the other strings like that, right? The picking motion needs to be an elevator that escapes away from those strings. Do you see how that traveled on kind of a diagonal path like that? That took me down to the floor I need to go to without smacking any of the other strings on the way. An upstroke should look like this if we're changing strings. Again, you can see how that went up and over both of these strings without hitting them. If it was straight up, I'd hit all of them on the way up. It needs to be an elevator that moves up and out from the strings in a straight line. That way I can crush that low E when I come back. I want you guys to concentrate on making your picking move in hard, straight, steep lines, okay? So in other words, I'm not simply just like curving these pick strokes out like crazy like this, right? That's a very hard motion to repeat with any sort of reliability. But really hard, straight lines that are steep like this, you can learn how to repeat those very easily and essentially just get out the way that you came with your picking. So really just keep in mind with this stuff that those picking angles need to be hard and steep and straight, and that you're riding an elevator that needs to go all the way down with the pick stroke, right? The pick stroke itself should take me to where it needs to go, not a pick stroke then a motion to get me there, Go all the way through with that. Think about the elevator technique we talked about, and you're sure to get a lot more success out of this. Allow me to demonstrate on the guitar. You can see as I was playing that, I was trying to really carve hard, steep lines that go in and out of the strings like that. As you're first getting used to these techniques, it's okay if these are a little bit less steep angles, You can see like that was a pick stroke that was definitely less steep than that. That's almost vertical, but just diagonal enough that it's getting away from those other strings. Think about hard, straight lines. Like I said, whenever you start this at first, it's okay if they're a little bit more exaggerated, but do try to continue that straight carving path that we were talking about. I recommend taking this nice and slow with your metronome, that way you can really concentrate on the technique itself and the angles of that picking. Again, think about the geometry. You have to travel out. You have to travel out every single time that you're doing a string skip. That way you can hurdle over the other strings. Don't go too fast, or else those lines will get kind of blurry. They might get kind of curved feeling, Take it nice and slow, that way you can make sure you're focusing on those hard, steep angles. So there you go, guys, the best string skipping workout you're ever gonna find. Practice that thing for a week or two, and I guarantee that you're gonna see some improvement in your picking like you've never seen before. Or I'll offer you a refund on what this video cost you to watch. Thank you guys so much for watching. Be sure to like this video, subscribe to my channel, and ring the bell for notifications every time I upload a new slice of fried gold. If you like this video and want to help support my channel and gain access to that bonus video I was talking about and so much other cool stuff, be sure to check out that Patreon page at patreon.com/BenEllerGuitars. Well guys, it's been fun as always, but I got a jet. It's near the end of May, which means of course it's time to start putting up the Halloween decorations. As for you, I recommend you get that guitar out, get away from the computer, and start playing. Less clicking, more picking.